Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bakes here, and here we are at the end of another year. Thank you for joining me for my Christmas edition of my random horror reviews. First of all, I hope everyone's having a Merry Christmas, and I guess for those who don't celebrate, having a happy holiday season regardless. But today's movie is one that I'm super excited to talk about, a movie that I have so much nostalgia, appreciation, and love for. It's going to be weird talking about this one in a review format just because I've seen this movie so many times and I have such a love for this movie, and I've never talked about it in a review format really before. One that I watch every year, especially around this holiday season, getting me in the mood. Today's movie doesn't need much of an introduction, but it is 1984's Gremlins. So I sort of gave this one a long praising intro, but I just really need to highlight this is one of my favourite movies, like regardless of genres, of all time, like top 100 easily. It's also one of my most watched movies of all time. Like, take the holiday season out of it, like I've seen Gremlins more times than I can fucking count. Like, I think I've said on my channel before, I think the most watched movie of all time that I've ever seen is Anaconda. Right up there also is the two early 2000s live action Scooby-Doo movies, but Gremlins is also like right up there. Like, I'd definitely say top 5. Some of my earliest memories watching movies is Gremlins. It was like an early gateway horror movie for myself. I just have like this crazy nostalgia and love and appreciation for this movie. Like I said, definitely in like my top 100 movies of all time. It's kind of weird watching Gremlins now. It's almost like a numbing robotic experience for me. Like, I just know all the dialogue in this movie. I know the story elements, the beats, the scenes changing from one to the other. Like, I just know this movie like the back of my hand. Like, even watching it now, I'm still trying to pick up on things in the background, like little Easter eggs and things that I can find. Like, I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people, and I'm just doing a lot of pointless rambling, but Gremlins is just one of those movies for myself, and it was just a matter of time till I was going to cover it for a Christmas edition of my random horror reviews, and here we are. So, before I keep rambling and talking about my nostalgia for this movie, I guess I better get into the plot and talking about my thoughts of it. So, the plot for this movie, I guess for those who don't know, we follow our lead character Billy, who receives a Christmas present from his dad, and his dad has found this little creature in this old Chinese store called a mogwai, and he gives it to Billy for Christmas. And it's basically, it starts out as this little cute fuzzball little thing. Like, if you know what a Furby is, it's pretty much a mogwai. But receiving the mogwai, which he names Gizmo, it also comes with a handful of rules. You cannot get the mogwai wet, you cannot feed it after midnight, and you can also not expose it to sunlight. Like bright light, it hates bright light, but sunlight will kill it. And those are the 3 rules that comes with the mogwai. The first rule that Billy fucks up is not getting it wet. He does get Gizmo wet, and basically all like these little fuzzballs shoot out of Gizmo's back, forming more mogwais. And at first it starts off like really cute, and they're like, oh my gosh, like we're just gonna have like an army of these things, like how fucking awesome. But it starts to turn sour when these new mogwais have a little bit of like a mischievous agenda behind them, and they start turning into these little green monsters. And I guess I'll leave it there because everyone knows the story of Gremlins, and I don't want to give too much away, but let's get into my thoughts of the classic 1984 film Gremlins. So like I said in my intro, this is going to be a weird movie to talk about since I have so much love and nostalgia for this movie. And like I said, even though I love Gremlins and watching the movie I still get so much out of it, it is kind of a numbing robotic experience. Like, I just know this movie scene for scene, word for word. Like, there are blocks of dialogue that I can recite without any hesitation. Like, I've just seen this movie so many times. So kind of picking where to start with a movie like Gremlins, it's a bit of a hard one, but I guess I'll first start by talking about the vibe and the essence and the sense of nostalgia. And like, this movie really is like a movie's movie, and I hope you guys understand what I mean when I say that. Like, they just really don't make movies like this anymore, and I know people say that all the time, but they really don't. Like, I put this in the same category as films like The Goonies and E.T., where it just feels like a true blockbuster, and like anytime you watch it, you're always going to get a sense of nostalgia. Like, Gremlins is in the same category as those movies, for example, and I really do feel like it is an essence of like everyone who worked on this film. So you've got Joe Dante directing, but you also have Steven Spielberg with his hands on it. You have Christopher Columbus, and everyone knows these three filmmakers really well, and you know their individual projects and things like that. But it really is like an amalgamation of those three together, and it just bleeds. Like, as I said, it feels like a movie's movie, and I know that sort of means nothing to some people, but I really hope you understand what I mean by that. Like, watching this movie, it just feels like a true old school blockbuster and just oozes that essence. It also does a really good job of like capturing the holiday vibe and the Christmas vibe as well. Like, you've got Christmas lights everywhere, you've got Christmas trees, the snow, like they just capture the holiday setting so fucking well in this movie. So that's another thing to highlight upon opening. To not beat around the bush, the effects and the puppetry on the Gremlins and the Mogwais is just fucking incredible. Like, we're meant to be getting a Gremlins 3 coming soon, and I'll talk about that towards the back of this review. I don't want to eat up too much time talking about a movie that's not out yet, but like, I really hope they do not completely flip over to all CGI and they really do highlight puppetry when they can, because the puppetry and the effects of the creatures in this movie are just like through the fucking roof. Like, the puppetry's outstanding, but then there's times where they use like miniatures and like different tactics to like make the Gremlins look as realistic as possible, and I just fucking love that, and I'm gonna be so annoyed if it just turns into a CGI fest with Gremlins 3, but it really is incredible. Starting off with like the design of like the Mogwais, which is like Gizmo when he first arrives. He's just so fucking cute. Like, I don't know one person that's watched Gremlins and been like turned off by looking at Gizmo. Like, Gizmo is so fucking cute. Like, I don't know anyone who hasn't been like, oh, when Gizmo does something, he's so fucking awesome. I've always found it kind of funny that even though he's cute, like, no one is freaked out by Gizmo upon looking at him the first time. Like, when Billy opens the present, like, nothing on earth alive looks like Gizmo. I'm like, in my mind, you'd be like, oh, what the fuck is that thing? But like, he loves it. Like, when he introduces it to Corey Feldman's character, Corey's just like, oh, what is that? Like, no one's freaked out by this thing, which is like crazy. But moving on from Gizmo, who like really does steal the show, you've got the Gremlins as well, and I just love their design. It's so cool, but like a mixture of being like nasty and gross as well. And they've also kind of got like this element of cuteness to them as well, but you know, they're drooling. You can tell they're like scaly and slimy and nasty as well, but they're just incredible, and their mannerisms and antics really are the thing that like kind of steals the show and gives this movie so much like eye candy to look at. Like, you look in the background of like any of the scenes that feature the Gremlins, there's something going on, and I fucking love that. And like, I think the scenes that like really capture that well are like the bar scene. You know, you've got the Gremlins that are focused in like the foreground and stuff, but you look in the background and there's Gremlins playing darts and smoking and swinging from the fans and shit like that. I fucking love it. The theatre scene is the same as well. Just look in the background, there's always something going on. The havoc in the street, you know, you've got Kate trying to close the hood of the car on the Gremlin, but you look in the windows of the houses in the background and there's like silhouettes of Gremlins attacking and creatures climbing up the fucking light post. Like, I just love how much is going on in this movie and the havoc that the Gremlins cause. I fucking love it. And even though it's so much fun and like the attack scenes, there's a lot of like light-hearted attacks and things like that. I love how it balances of going into like some like really dark shit as well. Like, think about all the fun attacks. You know, you've got the scene where Mrs. Deagle gets like her chair tampered with and she flies out the window. Like, that's fun. You've got Santa being jumped by a group of Gremlins and the cops like wind up their windows. Like, that's fun as well. You've got Dick Miller's character, and Dick Miller's in everything, but he's great in this movie as well. You know, he's talking about how like the best machinery is like American made, and back in the day like Gremlins tampered on the planes and things like that. You've got the Gremlins riding the tractor through his house. Like, that is just so much fun. There's so many like fun attack scenes, but even like that tractor scene is like low-key kind of dark as well, and I remember it freaking me out as a kid. But like I was saying, for every like light attack scene, there's like a sense of darkness as well. Like when the teacher gets attacked and like Billy comes across his body, like that's pretty fucking dark. The mum being attacked, like, she's such an underrated badass in this movie, the mum, but like when she walks into the kitchen and she has to like take on these Gremlins, like, it's like really fucking dark and like nasty. Like these gremlins like throwing plates at her and scratching her up and stuff, and she has to like blend them and microwave them, and then like when they attack her from the Christmas tree, also just like really dark and brutal, and you're like, holy fuck. Speaking of dark and brutal, you've got like that background story as well, which I always remember in this movie, where Kate is explaining to Billy like why she doesn't like Christmas. Like it just feels like it comes out of nowhere, and you're like, where the fuck did this come from? But like, even though it's unnecessarily dark, I just like remember it so fondly in this movie as well. I'm just like, oh, here comes that fucking real depressing, you know, backstory of why Kate doesn't like Christmas. But you know, I think it's so fucking cool. The cast in this movie, like I said, you've got Zach Galligan, who plays Billy. I really wish he was in more things, because he's just so charming and likable in this movie. And like, just off the top of my head, the only other thing I can really remember him being in is like Gremlins 2 and Waxwork and things like that. But you've got Phoebe Cates, who's just beautiful and talented as well. You've got Corey Feldman in this movie, like I said, Dick Miller as well. Like, just everyone in this movie, even if they're playing like a dick or someone unlikable or whatever, they come across as so charming and likable, and you like them and things like that. One of the most iconic yet underrated scores ever. Like, the score in this movie is just fucking so iconic to me, and like one of my all-time favorite scores, again, regardless of genre or things like that. I just think the Gremlins theme is just incredible. I was talking about like knowing this movie like word for word, beat for beat, things like that. This was the first ever time that I picked up on the Invasion of the Body Snatchers pod reference. Like Gizmo and Billy go to bed watching Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the scene where he's talking about the pods and they're here, and then they wake up in the morning and the Gremlins pods are on the floor of his bedroom, and it's just like, oh, like I never actually got that reference before. But that's what I mean. I just love watching this movie, and even though it's robotic, I'm still trying to pick up on Easter eggs in the background and things like that. And surprising to say that maybe I subconsciously picked up on it in the background before, but this time I was just like, oh my gosh, like it makes perfect sense, of course. This movie just has so much charm to me. Like, I really don't know what else to say. I know a lot of people sometimes pick on like the logics of the rules for Gremlins, and that's more of like something to bring up with Gremlins 2, because Gremlins 2 really does break it open. But I think when you start like nitpicking the rules and like what not to do with the Gremlins, like you're just not having fun with the movie anymore. I mean, of course, you can break it down all day. Like, I always think about like the Gremlins running through the snow. Like, they can't get wet, but snow is frozen water, so aren't they getting wet there? Shouldn't they be multiplying when they run through the snow? But they don't. Like, just things like that. You can nitpick it all day for sure, but at the end of the day, when you start doing that, you're not a fun person, I guess. But I don't even know what else to say about Gremlins. I'm going to wrap it up here. Like I said, I'm surprised it took this long to cover it on a Christmas edition of my Random Horror Reviews, but I mean, no time like the present. I love this movie so much. You'd probably be expecting me to give it a 10 out of 10. It's not quite a 10 for me, but I'm going to give it a 9, like, maybe even a 9. Fuck it, I'm going to say 9.5. 9.5 out of 10, like, just so close to perfect. As I said, I watch this movie every year around this time. It just gets me in the holiday spirit. As I said, I know it word for word. It's just that nostalgia comfort movie for myself. There's only 2 Christmas movies that I literally watch every year, and that's Gremlins and Jim Carrey's The Grinch. Like, they're the 2 movies that, like, my Christmas doesn't function unless I watch them. So there we go. Thank you for joining me for this random horror review, guys. If you also have an appreciation for Gremlins, let me know in the comments below, guys, because I can talk about Gremlins all fucking day. Like I said, Gremlins 3 is meant to be coming out. I did say I'd talk about it more towards the end of this review, but I've pretty much like said everything I need to say. I just hope they use practical effects. That's like my big thing that I hope with Gremlins 3. But yeah, thank you for joining me for this Christmas edition of my Random Horror Review, guys. The rest of my content coming out now will be sort of recapping 2025 and, my top 10 lists and talking about anticipated movies and things like that. That's mostly what's going to be coming up on the channel now. But thank you for joining me as always, guys. I appreciate it. I hope everyone's had a good year. Thank you for all the support, new subscribers, old subscribers, the likes, the commenting on my videos through this year. I appreciate it more than I can sort of convey And I hope you guys continue to enjoy the comments and content, and keep up with the interactions and things like that, because I love that also, guys. So thank you for joining me for today's review, and I'll see you for another video soon. Peace.